What if the strongest version of yourself isn't the most disciplined, but the most compassionate?
And what if the person you're meant to help most is the person you used to be?
Today's guest shares a powerful story of healing, faith, and redefining what it means to be strong. Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Kristine.
And this is Big Little Lessons,
where the lessons we learn early in life continue to shape us in big ways.
Today's conversation is one that touches on identity, health, and the quiet inner work that so many people are navigating.
Especially in a world that often tells us who we should be instead of reminding us who we already are.
Today, we're so excited to welcome Amelie Redivo. She is a professional dancer, model, certified holistic health coach, and fitness instructor.
And at just 22 years old, Amelie brings a depth of wisdom shaped by her own personal journey through an eating disorder and exercise compulsion, which she describes as a time of striving, control, and disconnection. She's truly an old soul.
Through treatment, the support of her family, and a grounding in her Christian faith, Amelie experienced a turning point, recognizing her worth not through performance, but through identity. That she is, as Scripture reminds us, fearfully and wonderfully made.
Today, she helps others discover a healthier, more compassionate relationship with fitness, one rooted not in punishment, but in strength, mental wellness, and self-respect.
Welcome, Amelie.
Hello, hello.
Yay, we're so happy you're here.
Me too.
Well, we always like to start by asking our guest, what's your earliest school memory?
Ooh. I actually have a pretty funny one. This is kindergarten, which is funny because you're a kindergarten teacher. So I remember in kindergarten, I went to a Montessori school and I had the biggest crush on this guy named Eli. And I also just happened to be obsessed with fairies at the time. And I wrote him a letter basically confessing to him that I was actually a fairy. And I rolled it up, tied it with a pretty bow, and I remember just like running up to him in class and putting it in his hand and then like running away. And I don't really remember what happened after that, but I don't know if he believes it or not, but I told him I was a fairy.
Aww.
Yeah.
That sounds so kindergarten.
Yes, very kindergarten.
I love that. That's your first memory. Yeah.
So when you look back to little Amelie, do you feel like you were someone who felt comfortable in your body as a child, or is that something that changed over time? It's kind of a big question.
Yeah. As a kid, I had no thoughts about my body. It was always like belly out, dancing around. I started dancing when I was 7 years old. And, as I started to get like preteen, I was, staring at my body in a mirror, sit 5 to 9 hours a day. And that's a lot, surrounded by a lot of different bodies as well. And as I got older, too, that was when social media started to creep in. And I think that's when the awareness changed of like, oh, wow, I need to look or be a certain way, or just hyper aware of what was going on with myself.
And what age were you about when you started to become aware?
I would say, honestly, I think the awareness started probably when I was about 10 to 12, and then I don't think like the hyperfixation really started until I, was about 14.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
In time frame. Like I remember at 10 and 12 starting to look at my body in a different way because your body starts to change.
Yeah, and that's when you start to puberty and all the things. Yeah.
For Kristine and myself, being, kids in the 70s, I remember having Teen Beat magazine. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I was so into it. And I would look at all these photos of these beautiful girls and in their swimsuits or their workout clothes. And I remember my dad saying, you do know that the photography has been altered. Mm-hmm. That's not how they always look. They've been working really hard to have the right lighting. And it was so helpful at that young, tender age to have somebody say, there's been alterations. But today, you're so young and you've grown up with social media. Mm-hmm. I can only imagine the pressure of that.
Yeah, totally.
Can you take us back to that season in your life when your relationship with food, so you were looking at your body, you were noticing other bodies. Mm-hmm. Like at what point did food and exercise shift for you? Like when did it turn from not thinking about it? You said to thinking about it, and then it turned from healthy to unhealthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know that I can pinpoint a specific moment, but I do remember like a shift. And I do remember it coming from social media, specifically like diet culture on social media. And as somebody who is just then starting to realize, oh my gosh, my body looks this way. Oh my God, my body's changing. Like I have leg hair. And then getting this information of like how to change your body, how to lose fat, how to lose weight, how to look this way. If you want to look like this, you have to eat like this. That was all the information I had to go off of. I was also so young and naive. I had no idea whether or not that information was correct or if it was damaging or any of that. And so I think that started it. And that started the restriction. On top of that, there was also family circumstances that as a kid, I don't think I was aware of, or a teen I wasn't aware of, but those are what subconsciously wanted me to have control of things because my inner life was out of control. So I needed something physical that I could control. And that was what I ate and what my body looked like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And your brain is telling you to find information and not knowing whether it's correct or not. It's an information nonetheless, right? Mm-hmm. So you're taking it in and you're like, oh, this is information. Oh, these are the answers. This is what I need to do.
Yeah, totally. Exactly that. I was like, well, this must be how I do this. So I'll just do it.
And you grew up dancing and you love dancing,
yes.
Correct? What kind of dancing did you like to do? Or do you like to do right now?
I can never pick a favorite. People always ask me to pick my favorite. I can never pick. Yeah. I grew up training in all the styles. Hip hop, ballet, jazz. I did point as well. A little bit of ballroom, contemporary, lyrical, really almost everything.
About line dancing, country dancing?
I've only been line dancing once and it was extremely fun, but it was extremely humbling as well.
Oh, is it?
Yes, they move so fast and you have to know and then you change directions. Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, that's neat that you love to do so many different types of genre. Why pick one? There's so many great ones. Well, you've used the phrase punishing yourself through exercise. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, this also was something that I don't think I was aware of until I was in treatment and there was a name put to it. When I started getting help and they were analyzing my behavior patterns, there's a term orthorexic, which is what we're talking about, exercise compulsion. And to give you like a little look into what a day would look like, this was during high school. I would wake up before school. I would work out in my room silently so my parents wouldn't know. My first hour at school was weight training, and I would always go above whatever the assignment was just to like burn extra. I would get through school. If there was ever any sort of like quiet period or down period, I would literally try to go exercise in the bathroom if no one was in there. After school, I would go to dance. On a weekday, I would be at dance for about 5 hours a night. Obviously, a lot of physical activity, lots of strain on the body. If there was ever any break, I would exercise. I would use any opportunity I could to just put my body through the ringer. I would come home from dance. I would still have to do my homework, still have to eat dinner. And I would, before I could go to bed, I would have to exercise again. And outside of just like a normal day-to-day, like routine-wise, if I ever wanted to do anything, I had to work out. If I wanted to go hang out with friends, I had to work out. If I had a snack, I had to work out after. If I ate a meal, like game over. Nothing in my life could happen without this behavior. And I didn't even realize like how damaging it was. But like literally my entire life revolved around not consuming calories and then continuing to burn them.
Yeah. So what was your eating like?
It was very, very minimal. I would try to hold off eating for a majority of the beginning of the day. That would be like, it unfortunately does not sound good, but that would be like the easiest way for me to starve myself and limit calories is the beginning of the day was the easiest time for me to hold off. I had safe foods. It was like apples, carrots, pretzels, and like fat-free turkey breast, chicken breast. And that was like really all I would eat. Anything else I was like genuinely afraid of. So I would have a very small lunch, which like now I couldn't imagine eating that as lunch and like being okay afterwards. Very restrictive, like going to dance. I can't believe how little calories I was eating to fuel so much activity. I was tracking my calories like religiously, even if I didn't have like time to like log it in an app. Like I was doing math. I was a really good math student, which blessing. But in this case, like I was using it to my advantage. I could calculate everything in my head. I had an ongoing calculator of how many calories I was intaking. There was days where I would go all day at school, all day at dance, and I would have 800 calories. And, you know, your basal metabolic rate, which is just the calories you burn doing just being alive, especially as like a teen and a kid, is already like 2,000 plus because you're growing, your puberty, all these things, and then throw on 5 hours of dance, an hour of weight training, and then all these other workouts. I like literally was just decaying. So,
and your brain. I mean, it's
yes,
so unhealthy for your brain, not only your body, but your brain development as well.
And that showed up heavily in my behaviors. I was so exhausted. I was so like irritable and angry and upset and lonely and sad because like, you know, I had no fuel going into my brain and my body that I just like, everything was just so hard. So, yeah.
So at what age did that start? Like, did that become a problem?
I want to say it started when I was about 14. Yeah, I believe 14 is when it started. I remember being, a freshman in high school. And then there was various appointments leading up to it. I had to see before I was actually, you know, put into like an actual treatment. I had seen various nutritionists and doctors and had blood tests as my parents' way of trying to be like, this is not healthy. This is not right. But, you know, the biggest thing with mental illness is denial. You're like, this thing isn't real. I don't know what you're talking about. And I don't think I was really put into treatment until I was almost 17 years old. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing such a vulnerable time.
Yeah,
it's so important because I think so many people like yourself, it's been a real journey. And so we're looking forward to hearing more about how you've done this. But I just want to acknowledge, you know, this challenging time in your life and the hope that you offer. So thank you.
Thank you.
Was there a moment or a series of moments where you realized something has to change?
Yeah, I would say there was probably 2 big moments. Like I said earlier, like there was several appointments that I had gone to leading up to this, several nutritionists, dietitians, et cetera, et cetera. And I finally thought that I was like in the clear. We were done with these. My mom was like, hey, you have a doctor's appointment after school. I'm like, okay, great. Just got to get through another one of these. I'm good. And we pull up to the building and just in big letters on the sign, it says eating disorder treatment or eating disorder treatment or eating disorders and mental wellness. And like, that would be the most like authentic feeling of your heart, just like sinking down to the bottom of your body because now it had a name, it had a label. And I was like, oh, I know exactly why I'm here. And going into that first consultation meeting, it was, you know, my mom, my dad, and this health professional all looking at me. And that was the moment I realized like something is severely wrong here. And that was the moment I finally accepted, like, you're not okay. And I knew subconsciously for a long time that I wasn't okay. But I just remember being in that space, sitting on a couch, feeling like I was just stripped naked, just bawling my eyes out. I would say that was definitely a big moment. I was dancing. That was my dream since I started doing it, was to make a career out of it. My parents were having a conversation with me. And I don't remember if this was before I had started the treatment or after, as kind of like a, you need to go through with this. But essentially they threatened to take dance away. And that was a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine looking at my 7-year-old self who just started dancing and being like, you don't get to have this future because I refuse to get better right now. And then so realizing like, wow, my entire life could change if I don't decide to make a difference right now. That I think made a huge switch for me.
So it sounds like you mentioned your parents and the role that they played in this. It sounds like you were listening to them. I mean, you had to, right? Mm-hmm. You were still a child. And like, what role, were they supportive? Was it harsh? Was it fights? What was it like?
It was intense. I've had conversations with my dad about this now. Like, I wish there was different ways that it was gone about. But also, you know, I can't imagine what it's like to look at your kid doing that to themselves and being able to get through to them. It was a lot of fighting, but, you know, that was because I was so angry and upset and clearly I wasn't okay. So I was just biting back, and I didn't want to lose control of this like one thing, because again, I felt like my family life was so out of control that I was like, I need this one thing to have to myself. In hindsight, like them going through with all these appointments and obviously paying for the treatment, like they were supportive. But once the treatment started, that was when like the real battle started. It was like, oh, like this is real now. You have to get better. You have to start eating. You have to start nourishing your body. Like these habits have to break. And that was the hardest. Like I remember one of the first mornings after that meeting, it was an act of love. My dad made me breakfast. Like he made pancakes. I literally sat at the table and cried and didn't take a single bite. And I like physically could not put it in my mouth. And I went to school. He packed them up for me because he just wanted me to have them. And so it was a long journey, and I really love and respect that they saw me through that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they just love you so much. You can tell just the way you're sharing this, how much love. Mm-hmm. When you think back, is there anything that you think maybe this would have been helpful, or you're still processing it?
Which part?
Well, with your parents, you mentioned that there were some ways that maybe they could have come to you a little bit differently. I know as a parent, I'm like, if I see my children hurting, I just want to help them.
Totally. Yeah. I think it was missing a little bit of perspective, which also may have been a little bit more confusing because both my parents majored in psychology and my dad still practices. So I think in those moments, I've shared this with my dad plenty of times that, you know, I felt like there was a good amount of time where he was trying to be my therapist and not my dad. And that was a really hard, like, line to walk and a boundary that had to be set. And I think also just for him, it was like, yes, he knows the right way to go about mental illness because he does that every day. But when it's your own kid, it's different. And I just think that like the language and the way that it was handled was very difficult. But also I can't imagine a world where it wouldn't be difficult.
He never had to go through this with his own daughter. So completely different.
Well, I'm so grateful that you've done so much work to overcome this huge challenge in your life. And it sounds like you've worked with your parents as well on this.
Were they a part of the therapy? Did you have family therapy as well? Was it part of it?
Yes, we did. For a while, it was just me, and then there would be parent check-ins. And then eventually, after a good amount of my own being in therapy and with a nutritionist and all that, we did have a little bit of family therapy, which didn't last a whole lot of time, but there was there for a minute.
Okay.
I'm curious too, what were the other people like in treatment? Did you meet people that were going through similar things that you were going through?
You know, well, I guess I should be clear. I wasn't in an inpatient facility. Okay. So I wasn't inpatient, but I had X amount of appointments that I had to go to every single week. So I actually didn't really get to meet anybody, which I don't know if that would have been helpful or hurtful when I think about it, but
yeah, like you're not alone.
It would have been nice to know that I'm not alone, because literally I had nobody around me that understood what I was going through. But I also don't know if I would have been surrounded by like-minded individuals, if it would have made it even worse. So
it's hard to know.
Yeah.
I would imagine that each person has a different case. And so it's so individualized. How did your faith begin to re-enter or reshape your healing?
You know, I think looking back to my teen years, I remember when I got to the end of it being like, this is only God. But I think my teen years was when I still like lacked a lot of understanding and faith. I grew up Catholic, went to church every Sunday, did all the sacraments, all the things, but I think I really lacked understanding of who God is and all of that. That didn't really start until I was an adult, when I really, really leaned into my faith. When I first moved to LA, I fell away pretty hard just because that was such a weird, confusing time of life, moving out right after high school, being in LA, all these influences. And about a year later, I kind of dived back in. And now now I feel like I have a greater understanding of faith and the importance and what it means to me. And But I think the biggest thing with that time in my life was surrender, which is something that I still have to practice today. I am extremely hyper independent and very, we said, stubborn. And so surrender is not a concept that comes naturally or feels good at all. But every time I do it, something amazing happens on the other side. So I'm learning to give into that a little bit more.
Yeah. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's hard because you came out here from Arizona to Los Angeles to pursue your dream of dancing, and it takes a lot of perseverance. So how has it been when you've said, okay, in this area of my life, I really have to surrender to God? It's not easy.
Yeah, it's the opposite. It's usually very uncomfortable and a little bit ugly too. You know, there's been moments where I'm just like, there's just no way that I can do this. There's been times where I've like really tried to fight it. Like if I just do this and I do this and I figure out and I meet this and like it'll all work out the way that I see it. And then it like everything comes crashing down no matter how hard I try. And you get to that point and you're like, God, okay, I'm done trying. Like if there's any way, it's through you. Like I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you're working through me, but whatever you're doing, I officially like lean in and trust you. And it's almost after all that like physical and mental exhaustion of trying to do it on your own, you like give it away. It's like someone just took boulders off of your body. It's like so freeing. And it's like honestly the greatest sigh of relief ever.
Yeah. It's such a gift. In the struggle, you come out the other side and you're like,
now I'm at a point where I'm like the second, even I literally pray things away all the time. I'm like, if it's not for me, take it away. And he'll take it away. And I'm like, honestly, thank you. I'm like, wow, I'm relieved. Like, I feel so much better. That's out of my way. Like, thank you for clearing my path.
It is almost a relief, isn't it? Because
Really?
you're like, I don't understand and I don't need to. Thank
Yeah.
you, God. Thank you that you're carrying everything.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't need to get it, but it's gone. Cool.
Yeah.
So when we talked to you earlier, you talked about being fearfully and wonderfully made. Such a beautiful statement. What does that mean to you personally?
Being fearfully and wonderfully made to me just means that there is no mistake about me. And that by no means means that I'm perfect, but actually far from that. But there's no mistake about me. My mental, physical, spiritual, like self, like everything was made in such intentional detail. There is only one of me. And like, I always say this, like the most cliche things hold the most value. That's why they're cliche. That's why they get said all the time, but they lose value because they've been said so many times. But there is only one of me. And the same thing with everybody else. Like everybody has such unique value because nobody is even identical twins. Nobody's like them.
Exactly.
So I just find that like every detail of me is guiding me to a very specific moment in my life, a very specific calling. It's going to make me into a specific woman. And I think that that's so beautiful that everybody is made with such intentional detail and gets to be their own, is going to fulfill a calling that is only unique to them.
Yeah. It's mind-blowing when you really think about all the people in the world.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada? Yes, please.
Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
For someone who feels disconnected from their body or stuck in comparison, what would you want them to know?
I feel like going back to exactly what we just talked about, like there is nobody like you and there never will be. I really try to, when I am coaching other people, really try to drive that home. You only get one body. And especially for me, where it's like, my body is my vessel for everything, fitness, dance, modeling. Like I have to take care of it. It's of course you feel uncomfortable when you're surrounded by millions of people and you're looking at your screen and you see all these bodies. So it's very real. I don't want to take away that feeling from anybody because I know exactly how it feels to feel uncomfortable or out of body or like you're not enough. But yeah, it's just like, dude, how lucky are we that like nobody is us? Like I'm me and you're you and that's that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Totally.
And the comparison, nope. Let's get rid of that idea.
Yeah, you're completely different. You had a completely different life that led you to this moment. Of course I'm nothing like you. Of course I don't look like you. Our genetics are different. Our life is different. Like, of course not. So
See what I meant when I said the wisdom of this
know.
amazing, beautiful person?
Yeah.
Really.
Well, Kristine, why don't you share how you've gotten to know Amelie?
So one of the things that Amelie does is she's a trainer at a gym that I go to. And I remember going up to you. Do you remember this? And I was like, you are such a good teacher. I said, I'm a kindergarten teacher. I've been teaching for 34 years. And a teacher, true teachers, you can't teach to teach. Like it's an instinct and it's something that you're born with. And you have that gift. And teaching the kind of fitness class that you teach is totally different than when I do, but you do it so incredibly beautifully. And I love taking your class, and it's really helped me too with my brain because I don't have a very healthy brain when it comes to all of this. Like everything that you're saying has resonated with me, but as an almost 60-year-old, like I look at you and I'm like, I wish I had the information and understanding of all the things that you have at 22 because it's taken me so much longer to get there. And there's so many other people that struggle with these kinds of things.
Yeah.
I think it's really important. So your relationship with fitness is obviously so important, but it seems like it's so different today than it was when you were younger. Can you talk about that?
yeah, my relationship with fitness now it's entirely different. Now I'm just like, wow, this is the greatest gift. I use fitness as a way of honoring myself and also honoring God. I'm like, how lucky am I that I have such an able body, that I'm so healthy. I always try to go back to perspective when I think about when I'm not in the mood to do certain things. It's like, there's so many people that are sitting down that can't get up right now. What a gift. And yeah, my body is my vessel. And I just constantly look at fitness as this is the thing that is going to continue to elevate me. Like I get to continuously get better. Same thing with learning is like you get to continue expanding your brain. Similar with strength. And I mean, strength translates to your brain. Strength training is incredible for you. It's not just for aesthetics. It increases your health longevity wise, your joints. It's also great for neuroplasticity. Like it really does. You'll see probably videos of 70, 80-year-olds in the gym and they'll hold conversations like they're still in their 40s and 50s, which I think is remarkable. But yeah, my relationship with fitness now is just that like I get to do this really challenging thing because I am strong and I get to continue to be stronger.
Yeah. What are some of the true benefits of working out that people often overlook? Because we always just saying, well, I want to have bicep muscles or I want to be able to wear a bathing suit this summer. But what are the other true benefits?
Yeah, I would say number one, confidence. Like even if people haven't reached whatever body goal they want yet, like seeing the amount of confidence that comes from just being able to do things that they didn't used to be able to do is crazy. Confidence is huge. You walk different. Like I was saying, longevity wise, you have better health for longer. There's studies done where people live longer and they are active in their life. It's great for your heart health. It's great for your brain. It's great for your mental health. It's a great release of stress, anxiety, anger. It's also a great place to just like be happy. It's a great release of energy too. If you feel like you have a lot stored up in you to just get it out. Yeah, I think there is so much that is ignored about like what fitness does for you. I think fitness is an incredible form of self-care, which I don't think people see. I mean, a great amount of people do see it as self-care, but I think self-care has been a little bit skewed in our society too. You know, Netflix shows and eye patches and cucumber water and like all of that, which are wonderful and most necessary. But doing hard things is also self-care. And I think once you start diving into doing lots of hard things on a routine basis, your entire life changes.
I agree.
I like what you said about confidence because being in this gym community and going to these classes, like I've seen women transform, myself included, but watching women lift up heavier and heavier weights and knowing that you could lift heavier and heavier weights. And it's a really cool thing to.
There is something beautiful about a community workout too.
Totally.
It's fine to work out by yourself as well, but I feel like there's an energy that you gather in a group community class.
Yeah, totally. I mean, literally one of the things I say sometimes when I'm coaching is I'm like, if you're tired, guess what? So is the person next to you, in front of you, and behind you. We are all in the same boat. And I think especially in a woman-dominated space where it can feel like you're competing against each other or whatever it is. Oh, we're all in the same boat. Like, we're all struggling. Like, cool. It takes away the level of like embarrassment or whatever it is. It's like, no, we're all down bad right now. Like, this is real.
It never feels competitive to me, but sometimes I'm like, oh, you're lifting 20 pounds. Maybe I should try that. Like, I think if you're lifting it, I could probably lift it too.
You're inspired.
Yeah, inspired. You're inspired by one another.
Christine's made some incredible gains.
Oh, it's fun.
That's awesome. Can you explain Bunda? Because that's where you work, at a Bunda studio. Because I had never heard about it until Kristine had mentioned how much she loves going to your studio.
Bunda is a strength training and Stairmaster gym. There's two sides of the room operating at all times. Half of the room is doing strength training with dumbbells, and then half of the room is doing a stair program. So we work on establishing strength on the floor, and then we work on steady state cardio on the stairs. It's a very dynamic environment. Lots of switching, always moving, all the things.
Great. And it's like an hour-long class?
Yeah, it's about 55 to an hour, yeah.
I imagine you walk out sweating a little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little.
But also, like, all the things you were talking about in terms of lifestyle and balance, I feel like, you know, we can also get a little bit obsessed with, okay, well, I have to go to class like every day or 6 days a week, you know? And I'm wondering, like, that's not always a balanced fitness mindset. I feel like sometimes that happens to people. What would you say a balanced fitness mindset looks like?
I do agree. I think when people get into a certain level with fitness, especially, or they start seeing them make their bodies start to change, or they're lifting heavier weights, it does become a little bit of an obsession. They put themselves in like gym jail. And it takes me back to when I was in gym jail for myself. And, you know, a lot of people I train with are moms or grandmothers, or they have X amount of jobs, or they are superheroes, like all these things. And, you know, just to be able to sit down with them and be like, hey, this is not realistic. And I can tell, like, I'll walk into the room as I see a lot of faces multiple times a week. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, yeah, maybe you don't need to come tomorrow. And I'm not saying that so you take the easy way out, but something's wrong here. And you're not working out to empower yourself. You're working out to be mean to yourself. And that's not how it should be. That's not good for us long term. Like, I can really tell when somebody's energy is drained, and that's totally okay. That's just the human experience. And so for some people in those moments, like, the gym is the best release, but there's also a threshold for that. So I think it's being able to understand, like, it honestly just takes a lot of knowing yourself really well of where to draw the line. Is pushing myself going to be the right thing? If I don't go, am I just being lazy, or am I taking the easy way out? Or if I'm going right now, is it because I am making this insane rule up in my head that if I don't go to my workout, like, my whole world implodes and my cat dies and all of these things? It's, you have to just understand when is the right time and when it's not. And that just takes in a deep amount of reflection about what is actually good for you.
Yeah. That's amazing that you can really see it in somebody.
How do you notice when someone is in that cycle?
I think it just is empathy. I think it comes from a lot of, there was a long, I think everybody still probably feels it some way, but a majority of my life, I felt like nobody acknowledged when I wasn't okay. And I was like, isn't it obvious? There's clearly something's wrong. And I'm just a very observant person, especially with people I know. And I can just tell. I think because I felt so unobserved for so long that I make it one of my missions to make sure that everybody around me is observed and that they, like, I know the details about them. I always say the person that you were most equipped to help is the person you used to be. And that is 1000% shows up in my coaching and in those situations, as it's exactly what I said. Like, I felt like no one noticed, and I make it my biggest point to notice.
Yeah. But you do it so naturally. Like, you have a really good intuition. I mean, I feel like that's a big part of being a teacher. Like, you really have to know everybody, where they are and who they are and what they bring to the table and what they need to get better at, and all of it. So it's a gift. Mm-hmm. It's a gift.
I know for myself as a teacher, the things that I've struggled with in my own learning has better equipped me when I'm working with others, because I've gone down that path. I'm like, I totally get it to some degree. And it does help you in your work with others.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you. What is your favorite part about being an instructor?
Ooh.
Bossing everybody around?
Absolutely. I would say it's probably a hard split between two things. Number one is watching people win and struggle too. Like, just getting to watch people, I think, is really cool. Like, the amount of joy that I experience when I see someone do something they didn't think they could do is like, I mean, that's how you know you're walking in purpose, really, is when something lights you up that much. And so I think that is like, I just love when people surprise themselves. And the second thing is the platform that it gives me to empower, encourage, and share. I'm a pretty intense coach, but it's all from a place of love. It's never bullying. I'm very honest with people, but I always reframe it. I wouldn't be a good coach if I lied to you right now. Or it always comes from a place of, I know you can do this. I know you're good enough. I know you're capable enough. You're just not doing it. So do it. And then they do. And then they're like, oh, wait, I totally can do that. I'm like, yeah, I told you. And that is the moment right there when people realize, like, the things they didn't think they could do. That is when it translates outside of the classroom. And that is what means more to me. Like, the concepts that I drive home when I coach show up in people's lives when they walk out in public. And that is one of the most important things.
You mentioned that sometimes you get, Jenny and I call these parents the 5%ers, the ones that we don't vibe with, or the ones that don't trust us. How do you navigate those kinds of people? Have you come across them? I imagine you have, because they're everywhere.
Oh, in Los Angeles, there's many.
Yeah, but probably less than the good ones, right?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I think with people who don't trust me, number one can be that woman-on-woman dynamic. Sometimes receiving critiques from other women feels like someone's coming for you, and it's never that.
Well, it's not even a critique. It's just that kind of instruction.
I want you to be better. In those moments, it's really just meeting people where they're at. I try, if someone isn't vibing with like one-on-one contact, I'm like, okay, clearly there's a little bit of distrust here. When I have moments with the whole class to be able to share and talk, that's where I really try to establish, hey, this is what's happening. This is going to cause this, this, and this. Here's how we can change it. If this is still feeling uncomfortable, like, I try to give a lot of different pathways for people to take, so they're like, oh, this girl actually gets it. Like, wait, I didn't realize that I was feeling that, and then I feel it. So I try to just like relate to as many areas as I can as quickly as possible. I think once people feel seen, then they immediately start to be like, oh, actually, she knows what she's talking about. I get it.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a while. It doesn't just happen automatically. And sometimes those become your best clients of all when they turn that corner.
Yeah, I love that.
It's actually pretty funny how that works.
Yeah.
I think the people who are most stubborn with me in the beginning are like some of my hardcore hitters now that are like religiously like in my class and training and all the things. So, yeah.
It is interesting how that works. Isn't it? Well, let's talk about your season in life right now. You are doing so many different things, teaching, coaching, helping with a coffee business. What is it like to explore different passions right now?
Oh, it's the best. I mean, I moved out here with a mission to do one thing, and that was dance. And then I became an adult, and I was like, I love so many different things. I think now in my life, I can never pick one thing. It makes me like so excited that every day is different. Like my schedule is never the same on a day-to-day basis. I'm constantly like hopping from different thing to different thing, all in different fields. And I think number one, it's really good for my brain. I can continuously learning. I'm always put in a position where I'm not going to be the best. And then over time, like you just get better and better. And I just love that my life is so all over the place, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah. How do you manage? Do you do dance auditions and modeling shoots? Give us a glimpse of your week. What's going on?
Yeah. I don't even know if I can give you a glimpse as every week is so different, but I can give you a wide variety of things. I'm coaching. I'm also taking care of my own fitness, doing my own workouts. There's dance training that I have to brush up on. Yeah, there's dance shoots, there's dance rehearsals, there's auditions, there's the modeling aspect, there's some days I'm designing menus, some days I'm doing recipe creation, some days I'm doing online courses. So it's just like a conglomerate of every sort of thing in life. Yeah.
The world is your oyster.
Yes. And if I get a second to breathe, I go to the beach.
That's a good idea. How do you have that mindset of flexibility and growth mindset? So many people fight it.
My dad. Yeah. I'm so grateful that as a kid, you don't appreciate these things, but he really nailed down growth mindset. Like he used that term a lot growing up. And as silly as it sounds, like when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, I was reading some crazy books that he would assign to me over the summer. And I would have to write reflections on them and things like that. But my dad is very psychologist in that way. This is like how you move and how you improve. And so I really accredit like my mindset, everything I have, everything I've done, and my work ethic, like all to him. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned plasticity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the brain growth of learning and growing?
Yes. That's basically in like simple terms, the expansion of your brain. Like new neural pathways being built.
Yeah. It's a really good thing to keep going with.
You just have to get really comfortable with failure, which as an adult is very uncomfortable.
Tell me about it. What are you learning about yourself in this season of day to day, week to week? It's very varied.
That I have an extremely high calling. I think in the last year or two, I've been pulled in so many directions that I never thought that I would go. And I have found that in everything that I've leaned into and trusted God with, it has just like bloomed into something beautiful. And I'm so far from perfect, and every time I touch something new, it gets harder. But high calling equals high responsibility, which also requires more learning experiences and failure. So it is a lot of falling down on the knees, but genuinely, I am in a place now where I pray for difficulty. I ask God to make it hard. And I'm like, I know whatever you're doing right now is pruning me for something even greater. So like, give it to me. Like, I don't want to become any less than what you have designed for me to be. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Wow. Well, should we go into our speed round?
Let's do a speed round.
Okay. Keeping it light and fun.
Okay.
Okay. So, I know the answer to this. It's morning workout or evening workout.
Morning.
See you at 5:30.
What's your go-to pump-up song?
Oh, that's a good question.
I actually don't know. I'm going to need to reflect on this.
Okay. Yeah. No worries.
I have
just
a lot of
anything-
pump-up songs.
Yeah. Why pick one?
Do you have a favorite artist?
I have so many favorite artists. This is the thing with dance is like you just appreciate every genre and every artist. My pump up song is all kinds of things.
You have a good playlist, I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah. How do you create your playlist?
A lot of just listening. I'm always listening to music.
Yeah.
Like in the car, at home. I mean, dancing. I'm always listening to music, and I just know what it feels like when you need a certain thing, and I just like build my playlist off of that.
That's awesome.
Coffee or matcha?
Coffee for sure.
How do you take it?
I like my coffee pretty strong. I'm not a latte girl. Way too much milk. Yeah, it has to have some milk in it.
Splash.
Yeah, it's like iced Americano with cream or oat milk or something like
Something
that.
good. Sweeten it up a bit.
Yeah.
What is one word your clients would use to describe you?
Kristine.
Fierce.
Okay. I was going to say ferocious. So that's pretty
Nice.
close.
That is close.
Yeah.
You too.
Fierce, but also, I mean, so many things.
I think I balance out like being ferocious with also giggling. So I think it's a good balance.
Kindness.
A nice, ferocious instructor. I like
Yeah.
it.
What's one thing you do for your mental health daily now, today?
I would say knowing when to just take silent moments. I think because too my schedule's so crazy and I'm always hopping from different people to different people and I'm always taking information. It's like sometimes you just need to drive in silence or sometimes you need to not answer the phone. And just like setting boundaries, I think is probably that.
Very good. You mentioned the beach as a way to get away. So tell us about your day at the beach. Are you reading a book? Are you going to the water?
Oh, yes, all the things. Usually I'll bring a book or a journal with me. I love the beach. I feel like that's where I like feel the most connected. So I'll bring those and I am an absolute mermaid at the beach. Like I am crashing in the waves, diving in there. So yes, lots of swimming and then followed by laying in the sun.
Perfect.
And what would be a small habit that makes a big difference?
I would say affirmations with intention, like affirmations that mean things. I think a lot of people say affirmations, they don't believe them. It can be as simple as saying your affirmations while looking yourself in the eyes in the mirror, and that makes it real.
Very good. Well, we always like to have a time where Kristine and I share what we've learned from you today. And there are so many good things. Do you want to share first?
You can go.
Okay. As we're like quickly thinking, what is it? What is it? There's so many. I loved what you said about leaning into difficult times and embracing it, because knowing that God has you in the palm of your hand gives you an inner strength that knows no boundaries. And so it's a bit of surrendering. Mm-hmm. And that really touched me today, because sometimes I cry and I'll get frustrated and then I'm like, breathe, pray, and go forward. But your words really touched me. So thank you so much. How about you, Kristine?
I loved when you talked about each of us having our own unique value. I thought that was really beautiful and special, and that each of us has a specific calling that we're called to. Mm-hmm. And sometimes takes longer for us to figure it out. Not you, but some of us, yes. And that's okay too, because we're all special. I think it's really easy to get into a negative mindset and headspace because we have such high expectations of ourselves. And it's really important to always remember how wonderful and special and unique each of us are and what we bring to the table. So those are words that I need to tell myself.
Stare it in the mirror and say that to yourself. I like that.
But I think for a lot of people, because
gosh.
we just get going in life and everything is happening so quickly. So to stop and to think about it is really important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We always like to have a reflection question for listeners to consider. Kristine, do you want to read it?
Yeah, sure. Where in your life are you striving for control instead of offering yourself compassion? So rather than striving for control, offer yourself compassion.
Well, for you, Amelie, if there's someone listening who's struggling with their relationship with their body, their food, exercise, what would you say directly to them?
Oh, well, I wish I could look them in the eyes right now to just like make them feel like I really mean it. But you are just so magnificent and wonderfully made. And no one, not anything that you do, not anything that anyone else can do to you will take away from who you are. There is only one of you and there will never be another you. And that is your superpower. As cliche as it sounds, the cliche things mean the most. And you are the only you that will ever be.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Amelie. for sharing your story with such honesty and heart.
Yeah, really. If this episode resonated with you, consider sharing it with a friend or someone who might need a reminder of their worth today.
You can find us on Instagram at Teach Big Little Lessons or reach out by email at teachbiglittlelessons@gmail.com.
And we don't have all the answers, but we have lots of experience. And as always, remember, big little lessons are everywhere. Until next time.
Never have too many tools. Shop DeWalt deals at Lowe's. Get a free Select DeWalt 20-volt max power tool when you buy a Select 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery kit. Plus, get a free additional DeWalt 20-volt max 8-amp-hour battery when you buy a DeWalt 10-inch 20-volt max dual-bevel compounded miter saw. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/24 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.